Mayor Hance hopes to have city experts look into some possibilities that have been called bold in solving traffic congestion. Those possibilities include the closing off of downtown streets to car use and keeping parked cars off major streets. The latter idea is not new.
We have banned it on several major streets over the past years. We haven't done any for the last couple of years, but you know, streets basically were made to move cars, not for parking.
But could finding an empty space be made more difficult if these alternatives are implemented? We decided to check out the present parking situation.
Have you ever gone downtown and just couldn't find a parking place? Well, we have to go downtown right now for a story, and let's see just how long it takes to find an empty space.
Our destination was the unique dress shop, and at 2 o'clock in the afternoon it only took us 1 minute to find a space. In fact, there were many empty spaces today, but dress shop manager Mary Zoracek and other storekeepers on Adams felt that parking is a problem. Did we just have a lucky day?
Oh, it's a very, very big problem to how it affects our business. People have a difficult time parking at all times.
Mayor Hance disagrees.
I don't think that there's a serious parking problem in downtown Phoenix yet, but there is a serious congestion problem on our streets. And I feel that it's time we look to ways to get more traffic capabilities on our streets.
And that's just what the mayor is after. And today she even asked help from the Chamber of Commerce to do just that. So for the shop owners in downtown Phoenix, well, right now the push is to find the fastest way to get the cars to their destination. Stopping for a while is another matter.
A plain label like this might not catch your eye, but the price should. No brand name, or generic labels as they're called, usually spell savings. There's less cost for the products because there's no fancy label on the outside and lower quality on the inside. Food products are 1 or 2 grades lower than brand name. Paper towels, liquid detergent, and other non-food items are less effective than the higher price package. How much can you save by making the sacrifice? Let's take a look. The price for Del Monte peaches is 59 cents. For the generic label, it's 49 cents. The label on Welch's grape jelly reads $1.19. The cost for the no brand name is 69 cents. Dry roasted planter nuts sell for about $1.59. The generic label, 99 cents. Those savings aren't peanuts. But just filling up your market basket with generic products doesn't guarantee you'll store up on savings. That's because the prices on the products will remain the same with no specials or sales. And that means a house brand or a brand name on sale or special can add up to a better bargain. For example, Heinz catsup sells for 49 cents, the no-name brand for 37 cents, and an advertised special of Libby's, a very low 29 cents. But whatever the savings, these plain cans may be the shape of things to come. Started by Fry's, first supermarkets say that they've also begun to stock their shelves. Monica Lee, Cool News 10.
Good Samaritan Hospital started the daycare nursery 21 years ago to help the hospital recruit good women employees. The center has charged just enough to break even. It can handle 105 children, but on most days only about 70 attend. Administrators say the center is not used enough now to pay for the upkeep.
To bring the thing to a break-even basis would require about an 80% rate increase to the users of it, which would mean that it then would be higher priced than the other facilities in town and simply would not be a good benefit for our employees.
Darren also says the nursery is no longer necessary to help recruit employees, but some of the mothers disagree.
This one here is, in July it'll be a year he has had open heart surgery, and we have a 2-year-old boy also. And I took the job close to the hospital knowing that they would be close to me and it was less expensive, and I knew they had good care. I know it's going to cost me at least $15 more a week to send my boys, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll have to quit my job.
How much would it cost you to put your children in a day school somewhere else?
I've called around. The cheapest would be $200, and it's more like $250.
Compared to what does it cost you now?
For the 3 children now, it's $140 a month here.
And what would that do to you if you have to put them in another day school somewhere?
Well, I don't really think I'd be able to afford it. I probably would have to leave my job.
It's meant so much to me, and I know how much it's meant to the mothers. We have the second generation of children coming in now. It is a very expensive operation and something that we have to think about, but it's been a wonderful benefit for the employee.
The administrators at Good Samaritan say the decision to close the day nursery is final and that there are plenty of good daycare centers in the general area to take care of the children here. But a lot of the parents are hoping that some way can be found to change that decision. Catherine Smith, Cool News 10, Good Samaritan Nursery.
White River is a beautiful place. It's situated between two rims of mountains, and it's got about 3,000 people in it. White storefront buildings are always the biggest thing in town. I worked in this store. It was a big white storefront. It was called Lee Mercantile Company.
And this is Arizona State University. Located here in Tempe, ASU is expecting nearly 36,000 students this fall. Do you realize that that's 10 times the number of people that live in the town of White River? For Mark and all the other freshmen like him, this first day of classes can be intimidating, to say the least.
The day began calmly enough for Mark, sitting nervously waiting for a professor who will surely assign 30 pages of homework on the first day. Well, of course, that didn't happen. And here, obviously, some were not as interested in the lecture as Mark was. Mark heard the Memorial Union was a popular place, but what he didn't hear was that you might have to spend a couple hours just getting through the traffic jams.
I just couldn't believe the amount of people that were just running through that place. It was not quite like Alchesay High School.
He didn't have much trouble finding that book, but by the time he paid for it, he could have probably read the first 4 chapters. And by now, a good soft drink would have really hit the spot. But this time, there are 2 lines to go through, one to serve yourself and one to pay. All in all, though, things really aren't that bad.
It's sort of like school the first day at high school, except on a bigger level. I was really expecting some hard material the first day. Everyone was telling me about the really terrible professors and their first day quizzes and things, but I really like the classes, and I think I'm going to have a lot of fun.
Well, it looks like Mark made it through today. I know what he must have gone through, though, because I was a freshman on this campus myself just a few years ago. By the end of the day, you're so tired, you just want to sit back, kick off your shoes, and relax. Anthony Martinez, Cool News 10, Arizona State University.
There was a lot of noise when the Concorde landed, but not much more than a conventional plane. The Concorde was held up in Dallas for about a half an hour to check the hydraulic and electrical systems, but flew to Phoenix with no trouble. Some people remarked it was bigger than they thought. Others said it was smaller. The plane is 204 feet long, about 2/3 the length of a football field, about 30 feet smaller than a 747. But is it fast? 1,300 miles per hour. But in the United States, it's allowed to fly only at 650, still 100 miles per hour faster than a conventional plane. The runway at Sky Harbor easily accommodated the Concorde, but it could be a long while before another one lands here.
Do you think there's a chance the SST may ever be flying into Phoenix?
Well, I don't know the setup here too well, but I think SSTs are going to increase. Now there's this aircraft that can travel at 1,300 miles an hour. I don't know how long it'll be before most aircraft travel at 1,300 miles an hour, so I wouldn't write that idea off, but not just at the moment.
The Concorde was here as part of a promotional tour by Braniff Airlines, which will begin Texas to Arizona service the 15th of this month. But to fly the Concorde, you'll have to go to Dallas. Quite a crowd of people showed up to see it, the usual Phoenix dignitaries and influential businessmen. Several hundred Phoenicians lined up to get a quick glimpse of the takeoff. 40th Street was lined up with cars and spectators as the Concorde took off after about an hour and a half at Sky Harbor. Bud Foster, Cool News 10.
Ah, sweet music, dear music, but there's another kind of music played at record shops. That's the music which is slated to get dearer if major record producers have their way. In the last few years, the price of an album has risen from $3.98 to $7.98, and a recording industry trade foundation reports large record companies are planning an $8.98 list price by Christmas. That price hike leaves record retailers to take the heat.
We're pretty much at the mercy of the manufacturers. I really don't believe that there's anything in our power that we can do to, get the prices down, especially now they've been established for almost a year now at a higher price. And
Jeff Lake, owner of the only independent chain of record stores in Phoenix.
Do boycotts work?
They're only effective maybe in an early stage, but once the radio stations play it and give it the airtime that a superstar, so to say, that's what they said when they raised it, that the Superstar X were going to be $1 more in price. They did boycott it, but it really doesn't work. They hear the songs and eventually they break down and buy the album.
A Philadelphia group called the Recording Industry Competitive Trade Foundation, composed mostly of small record and album producers and relatively unknown artists, is formulating possible legal action and a price-fixing investigation to try to block the price increases. But as of now, until that move succeeds or fails, if you want Frampton or the Bee Gees, you'll have to pay the going price. Tom Collier, Cool News 10.
There was a health fair going on here this morning. The idea was to teach children how to run, stay in shape, keep healthy, and avoid such ailments as heart disease and high blood pressure later in life.
I think a lot of kids need to work on their weight. I'm surprised sometimes at, how much overweight some of the kids are. And I think that through this program, maybe they'll learn to be responsible for their, they're brushing their teeth. I see a lot of cavities, which I'm surprised at. And, they'll be able to prevent some of those early childhood problems, health problems.
So these kids took off on a 5,000-meter mini marathon. Most of them made it, and afterward, refreshments. A little yogurt and fruit juice? Well, how about chocolate-covered ice cream and A&W root beer? On a lighter note, the school also offered medical screenings where parents and students could step on the scales, check on their heart rate, or even see how much sugar and cholesterol they had in their blood. But if you had to wait, there was plenty to be gained from the posters on the walls, most of them once again taking up that same old adage about that ounce of prevention and pound of ice cream cake and brownies. Nancy Williams, Cool News 10.